Hey, what's up? It's Comic95, the Savior, and for this video, I wanted to address something that I've talked about before, and I honestly have to play, I won't even say devil's advocate, but I have to, switch both sides on this conversation, because I have really mixed feelings on the topic. I saw an Asian person, and I'm just gonna assume that they're Asian American. They probably migrated to the US, maybe first or second generation, I have no idea. They appear to be older, but I honestly can't even tell how old this person is. And based on the last name, this woman and her husband are Vietnamese. So, I couldn't help but to see the hypocrisy in this. So they claim that they are in Japan, and they're on the Shinkansen, and they made a post inside of this forum talking about how they were on a train on the Shinkansen with these loud Americans. And they were talking about how, they were talking back and forth the whole ride. They're yelling at each other, fighting. I don't know what they were saying was going on, basically. Basically, they're being loud and obnoxious, according to them. And they took a photo of them to try to passenger shame them or whatever. And so I couldn't help but to think, okay, you felt bold enough to share their photo inside of this group, but you were too much of a coward to confront them on the train. Interesting. Then on top of that, I couldn't help but notice that inside of their comment, they not only did that to shame them, they were justifying, they're like, see, this is the reason why Japanese people don't want us to go inside of their places, they don't like us, etc. And so I'm like, okay, so you're literally excusing an entire country of people being racist. You're patting them on the back and saying, I understand why you're prejudiced, I understand why you're racist, based off of a group of people breaking rules and being stereotypical. And it's also interesting too, how do you know that they're American? How? Because I can assure you that even as an American myself, I cannot tell you how many times I've come across Europeans speaking English, which I thought was kind of strange. It's like, you guys from Italy, why don't you speak to each other in Italian? And they're not American at all. They're actually from Europe. How do you know that these people are American? And I'm assuming that you're an American based off of the photos that I saw. Because I'll take photos where it appear like there are white and black people at the background. So I'm assuming that she lives in the U.S. But I have no idea where this person lives because she doesn't have her country listed where she actually lives at. Just assuming. But let's say that you are an American. You don't know what country they're from necessarily. You're making a guess and you're assuming that they are an American. Anybody can speak English. In fact, Americans are probably the hardest people for you to tell who they are in comparison to other countries' people. Because, see, for example, here's somebody speaking Chinese. It's pretty much a dead giveaway. You're 9 times out of 10 going to be from China. You hear somebody speaking English, you have no idea, even with an American English accent. Because, see, a lot of people from Europe, they learn how to speak American English and not British English for obvious reasons. And with that said, it's like, okay, hearing somebody speak in English doesn't mean that they're an American, even if they're using an American accent. And then on top of that, it really just sounds like you're a hater to me. Are you jealous? You wish you were an American? That's one thing. That's what I really get out of it. Because I cannot tell you how many times I see other foreign people, whenever news comes on, about America, especially on Japan Today, I'll see foreign people all the time complain, oh, what does America have to do with Japan, blah, blah, blah. So basically you're a hater. You wish you can come to the U.S., but it was much easier for you to get a visa to Japan, right? Yeah. So anyway, I'm not going to get into that whole part of it, and I'm not even trying to, I do have skin in this game because I am an American, I'll keep it real with you. But this isn't even the reason why I'm offended by what you say. It has nothing to do with me being an American, but rather, I hate seeing people trying to justify the racism that goes on in Japan, but instead of saying this is a them problem, you try to blame other people like yourself. And please understand, the same people that you're trying to stand up for, that you're saying, oh, I understand why they feel this way, whatever, they don't feel that way about you. And please also understand, if you are an American, you're going to be viewed as a Chinese and or a Vietnamese person, which in other words means you're in the category of the least liked foreigners here in Japan. So I can assure you that them speaking loudly in English, while they are being rude and obnoxious, and I will be annoyed too, that should be the least of your concerns. How about you tell your friends, Ming Ming, and whatever the fuck the rest of your people are, how about you tell them to be quiet? I literally just went, and I'm assuming that you're Vietnamese based on your last name. I have no idea, Vietnamese, Chinese, whatever the fuck you are. I think she's Vietnamese. I never see other Chinese or Vietnamese people telling their own people what not to do. But they'll be the first ones to tell Americans, Europeans, whatever, what they think they should do, what they saw them doing wrong. Can y'all stop trying to police other people? Police your own race. Police your own people. Tell them what they need to do. And if you feel so bold and strong to post about it online, how about you confront these people in real life and not just save it for when you want to talk your shit inside of a forum group to try to shame people or whatever. So again, don't get me wrong. I totally agree. Their behavior is unacceptable. But the bigger issue here is You have a problem if when you see somebody doing something wrong, you categorize an entire group of people as being like that, which is the problem that Japan has. For example, when I went to Wendy's yesterday, a fast food restaurant, U.S. restaurant, right? Wendy's First Kitchen, Japan. I'm literally sitting down with my husband, who's Japanese, might I add, and this woman about 3 seats over from us. She is dying laughing with her mouth, listening to this loud, annoying Chinese video on her phone. Now, the reason why I mention the language is for a few reasons. One, I know as an American, when you hear something in a foreign language, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, be politically correct. It does sound more annoying to you, especially when you're in a place that's supposed to be quiet. She has her volume on the loudest setting possible. Full volume. She's not crazy. She's laughing. She's eating outside food at the Wendy's. And even after she leaves, she's literally walking out the restaurant down the stairs in Ikebuku to this Wendy's, volume on full blast, no headphones, still laughing with food in her mouth. She leaves her food, her onigiri, whatever, she finished most of it, I think. She leaves it on her tray, leaves her water bottle there too. She's literally right in front of the garbage and tray area. She leaves it on the table and walks out. So not only is she being loud and obnoxious in the restaurant, she's gonna go out in the street like that too. Not only did she not throw away her shit that she ate from the restaurant, but you leave your other trash shoes, not even an area for pet bottles there. Come on. And you're right next to the trash. So it's not like she didn't know that it was there. Now, I would never see a Chinese or a Vietnamese person chime in and tell people not to do these things, will you? Nope. But you will be the first people to try to correct an English speaker on what they should or should not do. Not to mention, I'm sorry, let's say this person's purposely breaking the rules, they know the rules, and they don't give a shit. Can you please stop justifying people being prejudiced, racist, xenophobic, because y'all want to play dumb with me? Xenophobia is literally a synonym for racist, prejudice. Because by that standard, like I said, let's flip it to the U.S. White people could just say, I'm not racist, I'm xenophobic. That would make perfect sense. Most of the U.S. is pretty damn segregated. Chicago is a prime example. Most white people that do feel some type of way towards black people have no experience. You can say, we're just scared. We're not used to seeing black people. Okay, sounds like prejudice, racism to me. But when those words get used in the Japanese, y'all lose your shit. Please stop rehashing dumb shit that's been on this YouTube platform for the past, 10 years or whatever. I don't know what white person invented the shit, started calling this crap xenophobic. And of course, Japanese people love it because they'll never see themselves as racist. But let's keep it real. If you live in Japan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Come on, don't play dumb with me. Imagine a white person, especially if you're white. Do you think you could get away with thinking, seeing, doing, acting like this? Having these little rules like, oh, we don't rent to black or Hispanic people because we know that you all can't hold down jobs. Your credit score is low, whatever. All these different things, stereotypically. So even if you find a black or Hispanic person that doesn't fall into that category, they have a great job, high credit, etc., you can just say, sorry, white folks only. Is this stuff called racist or not? It's illegal in our country, right? Okay. Now, here we are in Japan, and when they do it, oh, it's not racist, it's xenophobic. Get the fuck out of here. Do y'all even know what the fuck the word xenophobic means? Please look it up. And after you look it up, tell me what the synonyms are. In fact, I did you a favor. I made a video telling you what xenophobia means. So please go check that out on my channel. So anyway, off of that, all I want to say is that it just blows my mind. I see other Asian people trying to police white people. Now, this is a white person outside, a white American, not a black one, trying to police Americans. White people online. Even if you do it in person, please keep that same energy when you see one of your people doing that. Not to mention, I promise you, white foreigners are the least of your concern. They hate Asian foreigners the most. They can't stand Chinese people. They cannot stand Korean people. They cannot stand Filipinos, Vietnamese, etc. You are the ones that get the flack here, not the white and black foreigners. In fact, if anything, we are the ones that get favoritism. They give us passes all the time. You, on the other hand, your mere existence in the vicinity pisses people off. So, while you're busy trying to police what we're doing, what we're saying, and also categorizing anybody that speaks English as being an American, ugly American, whatever, I can assure you, we should be the least of your concerns. Not to mention, instead of blaming them for not having the perfect behavior and being model minorities, even though they're just tourists here, how about you think about the fact, why are we allowing grown people to use the excuse of, well, I saw this person do it, and I keep seeing these people do it, so I have the excuse to be racist now. Does that make any sense to you? Again, totally understand, yes, I don't want people doing that either. It is rude, it is disrespectful, and I totally support the idea, so I'm going to speak on both sides. You should be trying to, present your country, your people, whatever, as best as possible here. Follow the rules, do some basic research. Totally agree. But the part where you lost me was two things. One, assuming that this person is an American just by them speaking English. Two, on top of that, the fact that you're trying to justify why Japanese people are racist here by saying because they're speaking loud on the train when it's supposed to be quiet, that gives them an excuse to be xenophobic. Interesting. Very interesting. Not to mention, I see Japanese people talk on the Shinkansen all the time, especially during travel seasons, like on the weekend, during holidays like Golden Week, etc. It's not normally a perfectly quiet train, especially not when it's families on the train of Japanese people. I literally got on the train, shared a video of when I was on the Shinkansen. It was a Japanese family in front of me on the train. Their child literally took off their shoes, has their shoes in their hands, and is touching all over the window. And God forbid a white American were to do that, because y'all would lose your shit. You'd be like, Americans taking off their shoes, bad kids, dirty behavior, whatever. Don't do that. Japan is so clean. But see a Japanese person do, oh, so cute, whatever. You'd be clapping and cheering it on. Totally different reaction to it. If you're not going to keep that same energy for a Japanese person breaking the rules, being loud, being dirty, being obnoxious, don't you dare do that shit to another American. Not to mention, you don't know how much they do or do not understand the rules. So to have the assumption that anybody that breaks the rules is being problematic, attitude, whatever, I feel like that's ignorant too. Japanese people sure as hell don't go to the U.S. understanding how everything works. I literally dated a guy that didn't understand that. He found out the hard way after getting pushed back. But he talked about how he didn't understand that that's not okay to do when you get on trains in Chicago. Thank God he didn't come across somebody that got a fucking lock, because he would have got his shit rocked, okay? He tried to push his way onto the CTA. Could have got his shit knocked out that day. You don't ever put your hand on somebody, no matter how much you are in a rush. Not in my country. But in Japan, it's understandable. You're trying to get on that damn train. Push yourself on board. Don't do that in the U.S. Now, this is a holy, beloved, perfect Japanese person. The most polite, mannerable, clean, pristine people in the world. But see, they don't even know the rules for your country. Now, by these dumb standards, should I say we shouldn't rent to Japanese people? We shouldn't hire them. We shouldn't allow them in our establishments. Because look at their behavior. Is that how you would feel? Nope. You would understand this person's new here. They don't understand the rules. Or this person's not new here. They've chosen to ignore the rules. But should I punish everyone for the actions of a few? Should I punish everyone for the actions of the majority? It's not fair, is it? Can we just be judged as individual people? We can acknowledge the fact, yes, foreigners do make a lot more mistakes than Japanese people for obvious reasons. Language barrier, cultural barrier. There's a ton of fucking rules to learn. Japanese people have had their entire lives to learn these rules. You are new here, and no matter how much research you do on how things are supposed to go, there are some things you simply won't know. For example, this is for a whole other video, but something that I just learned even recently, and I should have figured this out a long time ago, was Japanese people don't ask the probing questions that we do as an American. If someone says yes or no to something, you accept it at face value. As an American, I want to dig in deeper. Why can't I have this? I want to explain why I deserve more, why I deserve the outcome that I want. In Japan, whatever they say, you take it. If you report something to the police in Japan, hey, this person's stalking me. And the police, oh, sorry, nothing we can do. Oh, okay, really? Okay, I understand. End of conversation. As an American, why the fuck not? I got proof they're doing. I want to go on and tell my damn story. Now, to me, this is understandable. Shouldn't you want to get the help and the fucking police? It's the fucking police, right? What is their job for if you're not going to do this for me? But from a Japanese perspective, they're thinking, what the F is wrong with her? We said, no, we can't do shit. Their thinking is different. Now, from their perspective, I'm being rude. But from my perspective, it's understandable. Another thing I commonly see wrong, again for another video, I literally just went to the Kirby Cafe and I was looking at the reviews, and people were giving it negative reviews and being angry about it because they were saying when they went to the restaurant, they weren't served their food the same time. And that they had people in their party that were waiting, 10, 20 minutes, whatever. I'm, exaggerating time. Waiting longer for their food. The food didn't come out at the same time. And it's like, I had an argument about this on my live stream. Sorry if you watch it, but I gotta keep it real. It's kind of irritating me. I wasn't thinking much in the moment because, again, I'm doing a live stream, not on my mind. But as people trying to agree with the foreigners in this, and I'm like, this is Japan. I totally understand how in the U.S. you expect your food to come out in order where you want them to wait and be watching. Are you done eating your entree so I can give you your dessert? Well, Japan don't fucking work that way. You're eating at a casual restaurant, not some 5-star dining experience. And with that said, when your food is ready, they're going to serve it to you. Eat faster. This is not an experience you just sit down, relax, slowly enjoy your meal. That's not the way that it goes here. You get what the F you paid for. They're trying to get you out so I can serve the next people, clean up your table, move on with it, not even getting tips from you. Yes, you're eating at an American restaurant. I think they're like an Outback Steakhouse or whatever, or Fridays, but that's not the way it goes here in Japan. It's a different country. Okay, I understand your frustration in the US, I guess, but here in Japan, no, it's pretty much standard. The Kirby Cafe, I always eat American style, even although I understand that they're not going to serve me American style. I don't get mad, but I understand I have to wait. When they served me my burger, my husband was just going to get dessert. I waited for the dessert to come out. I was trying to, but actually this is the first time it's ever happened. Because I was sitting there and they noticed I was not eating and just looking around, they actually came to me and spoke to me in English and asked if everything was alright, because they wondered why I wasn't eating my food. And they didn't know I was just trying to wait so I could take a photo, a video of our food together before I start eating it. And from my perspective, I don't want to sit there eating when, my husband doesn't have his food. Even if you're my friend, I want to wait till everyone has their food before I start eating. But I understand different country, different culture. So even though I will choose to wait, I'm not upset because I'm waiting. I understand that for them, they just don't get it. Just eat your food. For them, they want to eat their food when it's hot and fresh and it first comes out. And to be honest, it kind of does make more sense. Why would you want to wait for everybody's food to be basically at room temperature or being kept artificially warm while the other food is being prepared, getting ready, whatever? I get what you're saying. But again, different country, different rules. And you'd be amazed at how many foreigners don't know this. You want to know why? Because nobody makes videos talking about real problems you'll encounter here. Everyone's videos are, oh, Japan is all cupcakes, rainbows, sunshine. Oh, it's so clean. The Japanese are so polite. This is the bullshit videos that you get. Nobody talks about real things that you might encounter, real problems that you might have. Everything's just glorifying, over-exaggerating how good things are. In fact, people are bullshitting you when instead of them talking about how good the food is, they'll tell you how pretty it looks, how nice it is. I'll tell you both. For example, I told you guys, I like going to Pokemon Cafe. Actually, Kirby Cafe was actually a little bit good. But I liked going to the Pokemon Cafe, but I gotta keep it real with you. Both Pikachu Sweets and Pokemon Cafe didn't taste good. You were literally paying for a cute drink, cute beverage. Cute food. And that's fine. But I'm not gonna sit over here like, oh, it was the most delicious thing ever. Oh, it tastes so good. And try, cut it up, make it look all good. Look better than it really is. It wasn't. I could be honest with you about that. But see, other people don't do. They want your money. Now, if they lie to you, or should I say they lie to you? If they lie to you, they'll make money. But to tell you the truth, they won't. So they tell you the positive things. They exaggerate how good. Like, for example, I'm sorry, 7-Eleven is so overrated in Japan. It's nice for the convenience and the fact that you can buy an actual lunch set. But to be honest, it's no different in the U.S. We have pre-made lunches too. The difference is Japanese versus American food. The food you're eating at 7-Eleven is microwaved shit. You will never see a Japanese person brag about convenience store food. They don't. My husband seldom even eats food, even from the grocery store. Eon, whatever. It's not even because he's married and he has a housewife. Even prior to me being in the picture. Japanese people do not worship these places like how you all do. They recognize that foreigners really like these places, so they recognize, oh, if I make a YouTube video pretending like this is the best shit ever, I can make money. So what do? Of course, they're happy you guys are bragging about their country and you love it, so they feed into that bullshit too. I saw somebody make a post where they talk about how the BLT sandwich at 7-Eleven is the shit. And I'm not gonna lie, for their sandwiches, yeah, I do like them. It's one of the sandwiches that I normally had when I was having lunch at work. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. Shit ain't got nothing on Subway. Don't fucking play. Pretend like that's actually a good ass sandwich and worth the price. It's overpriced, expensive shit that you can make yourself at home. Ain't nothing special about them damn sandwiches. I'm sorry, keeping it real with you. Same thing goes for their bentos. It doesn't taste good. It's okay. It's average at best. It's nothing worrying. I literally was supposed to talk about how the stuff was for Michelin stars, whatever. It's just because it's Japan. I can assure you, if they had those exact same bento boxes in the U.S., you all would crap on them. You would find reasons why it doesn't taste good. Oh, it's not the same as... You make all type of bull. For example, Kit Kats. Kit Kats aren't even in the top 3 candies in the U.S. But y'all come to Japan, all of a sudden, everybody has to eat Kit Kats. It's the best candy in the world. Blah, blah, blah. Whole nother story, not gonna get into that. My mom actually does like Kit Kats. It's actually it was her favorite candy, I think, for the longest. Might be like her number 2, and I think she likes Reese's more. But she's always really liked Kit Kats. But she's the exception to the rule. But back on subject, yeah. All I want to say is this, because I can go and rant about this forever. Please understand, while you're busy trying to police those foreigners, while yes, their behavior is obnoxious, is rude, is wrong, you don't know whether they knew any better or not. And 2, please understand that while you're busy worried about us, you need to be worried about you. Because see, even if you are an American, you're not going to get treated as one because you don't look like one. Okay? If you're not white or black, you're not an American by Japanese standards. You have to look white or black in order to be counted as an American. If you look like you're Asian, you are no longer an American. Even if you are by papers. I'm saying how you're going to get treated. You will be treated like you are whatever country you look like. If you look you're from Vietnam because you are Vietnamese ethnically, that's where the fuck you're from by Japanese standards. I don't care if you're speaking English, because FYI, wake up call for you. Most of the Asians here in Japan that live here and or that visit here, they speak English fluently, oftentimes at a native fluent level. So don't think just because you speak English perfectly, people are going to assume, oh, you must be an American. Nope. They'll think, oh, you're a Chinese person that can speak English. That's what they're going to think about it. Which they deal with that all the time. So while you're busy trying to police us, don't worry about how loud they're being, because even if they're the quietest people in the world, the Japanese people around you are still going to hate you. I literally hung out with people before, even my landlord when I lived in Kobe. He openly was telling me about how the Chinese people in the area ruined their Kobe beef restaurant, whatever, how it was a good yakiniku place or whatever, but the Chinese people there, the tourists or whatever, they ruined it. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, you just met me. What if I was half Chinese? What if my best friend was Chinese at the time? Just think, okay. and then he just openly said this to me. Didn't even hesitate. So you're busy worried about what, white people are doing here. You're worried about what you and your friends are doing here, okay? Because you're the ones being looked at underneath the microscope or whatever, magnifying glass. So, it just blows my mind that people, I get tired of people assuming that somebody's an American because they speak English. As an American myself, keeping it real with you, yes, that does bother me. And then 2, the fact that you're justifying prejudice or racism by saying, because people act badly, this basically justifies them not wanting or allowing us to do certain things here, instead of just calling the fact, no, their behavior is flat out racist, rude, wrong. Because by that standard, I can say, alright, well, because, I don't know. I mean, you can use that for anything. Because stereotypically, a lot of people do something. Let's say most people do act this way, whatever. Would that be fair to you then? Because by what I said earlier in the video, let's keep it real. Vietnamese, Chinese people, etc. here, I literally just got on the train the other day. My husband was sitting next to a Vietnamese, 2 guys. And they were talking loudly on the train. It was quiet. And it was annoying hearing them speak Vietnamese, keeping it real with you. I ain't gonna do any imitations. I'm gonna leave that to me. I'm gonna keep that inside my head, keep it in my house. But yeah, it was annoying as fuck. Now, you wouldn't be happy to hear somebody say anything about that, would you? Would you have told them Vietnamese people to shut the fuck up? And y'all probably speak the same language too. You're at least the same ethnicity. Same country, right? You wouldn't like that, though. That would offend you, so you keep your mouth shut then. Those are the people you need to be worried about. Don't worry about what white and black people are doing. Worry about yourself. Worry about your own. And also understand that, see, while you're busy worried about their problems and help them out, you need to be helping out your own people. Because you're not even going to get counted as an American. Give your own people some advice. And also stop trying to justify racism. Acknowledge the fact that while you love Japan and love Japanese people so much and kiss their ass, they don't do the same thing for you and your country's people. I don't care if the majority of people act the same way, which I'm going to keep it real with you. The majority of Vietnamese and Chinese people are loud. They do dirty shit. And I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. This is also the reason why the bathrooms tend to be dirty. It's other Asians, not Americans, believe it or not. In fact, I would argue the people that watch videos like my own to get information on what to do and what not to do tend to be white and even black foreigners. Can't say the same thing for other Asians, keeping it real with you. Now, by that standard, should I justify? Well, yeah, I totally understand Japanese people don't like other Asians or whatever. That would be racist, right? You would have a problem with that, right? So please don't try to justify their mistreatment towards foreigners overall or individual countries of foreigners. Because while you're hating on them, Americans are possibly the most liked foreigners here in Japan. Yeah. So, and again, I don't know what country you're from, but I'm going based off of your ethnicity. Your name is Vietnamese. You look Vietnamese, Chinese, whatever the fuck. I don't give a goddamn. And with that said, you are going to be viewed that way here by a Japanese person. Nobody's going to look at you and say, you must be American, or, oh, you speak English, so you must be an American. However, ironically, that does happen for me, though. Can't say the same thing for you. And with that said, like I was saying, don't worry about what we're doing or what they're doing. Worry about what you do. Worry about what your country's people do. And instead of being ignorant, how about you take the situation and enlighten other people what they should or shouldn't do? No need to take a photo of them, because you best believe the same people that complain about this. Now, what if you were touring here with your child and your kid is acting bad and being out of hand, whatever? You wouldn't appreciate the fact somebody take a photo of you and your kid, post it online in a group amongst thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, to shame them when you have no idea what led up to whatever you just saw. That wouldn't be fair. You also don't know how much they knew or did not know about Japan and their rules. And also, let me remind you too, Japanese people break these rules all the time. If you're not going to police and get on a Japanese face for being loud, for being dirty, for not being a good boy, don't do it to other foreign people. You all are bold as fuck with policing foreigners on what not to do here, but you won't keep that same energy for a Japanese. And again, I'll play devil's advocate or whatever you want to call it. In the same breath, I understand the need to represent your country the best way possible. Try to break these stereotypes, barriers, whatever. I'm all for that. But I don't believe this is your intention. Because what you basically just did was, you're basically saying, I understand why you're a racist and I agree with it because people like this exist. Please stop doing that bullshit. That is the most Uncle Sam cracker shit I've ever seen in the world. And this is even with you being an Asian person. It just sounds so dumb to me. So, again, for those people that did this, if you ever happen to watch this video, please don't behave that way. I agree with the person saying your actions and behavior were inappropriate. Don't get me wrong. But like I said, the part where they lost me was they were trying to justify Japanese people being racist by saying, oh, look at these people. This is why they don't allow us to do X, Y, and Z. It has nothing to do with that. It doesn't. Because I can also assure you, for most of us that live here and or that visit Japan, we do follow the rules to a T. We do our research. And for everyone to get judged overall by the few that don't, shows it's a their problem and not a us problem. Even living here, anybody trying to rent a house here in Japan, I can assure you, it is the minority of renters that leave a place in a, shit storm, whatever, after they leave. Japanese people also leave places messy and damaged, etc. And it happens more with them than it does with us. But they don't care. That will be their excuse and their reasons why they will not rent to you. The people who live here are oftentimes totally different from the ones that just visit here. But they don't care. You are going to be judged the same way. And let me also remind you too, see, a lot of people complain about how it's hard to rent here. I'm sorry. It actually depends on what country you come from. I have never in my life, and I'm going to keep it 100 with you, I I've actually been kicked out of my place. I've been evicted here in Japan. I'm gonna keep it real with you. And I have still never been rejected from any place I've tried to rent. Ever. Because of my nationality or race. Why? Because I'm an American. They don't care. You, on the other hand, oh no, you're Asian. You get a whole nother, category, whole nother field you're playing in. You will have difficulties finding a place to rent. They will care that you are Chinese. They don't care if you are an American. If you look Chinese, you Chinese. You got a Chinese last name, you Chinese. You got a Vietnamese last name, you're Vietnamese. You will be treated like one. You, on the other hand, cannot relate to me. And in this case, I have privilege over you. But see, I still would not be ignorant and pretend like I don't understand your problems and your issues. I would agree, and I've seen this happen before. I do not support or like the idea that they will avoid and refuse to rent to a Vietnamese or Chinese person based on the fact that you are that race, you are that nationality. It's not fair. My boss was Chinese. She was raised in Australia. She spent a lot of time in Hong Kong. But at the end of the day, she was rejected from places. Why? Because ultimately, she's Chinese. Doesn't matter if you're from Hong Kong, China, whatever. To them, all the same. And theoretically, Hong Kong is controlled by China, ultimately. With that said, you have to understand who you're dealing with. Is it fair to say that all Vietnamese people act a certain way? All Chinese people act that way? My best friend was Chinese. She would never do something like that. She would never talk loudly, leave her trash behind, especially not a pet bottle, whatever. She speaks Japanese, English, and Chinese. She's respectful. She's mannerable. She's clean. She never leaves her place in a mess. She pays all of her debts. No issues like that. But unfortunately, none of this stuff matters because she's still Chinese. It's not fair. Okay, please stop trying to justify that because some people, I don't even care if most people did something, that this excuses racism. Adults that have functioning brains that are not ignorant know not to judge everyone the same way based on how some people do stuff. We are all minorities here in this country. What they did is wrong, I agree. But where you lost me, like I said, is you trying to pretend like this is an excuse for them to act, believe, and think the way that they do, because it's not. Let me also add that this falls into the stereotype for Asians, specifically in the US, where you try so hard to be a model minority. And again, this conversation is a really tricky one because, of course, I've gotten on foreignish things they do on my channel too. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite, but rather my problem wasn't with her correcting foreigners for what they're doing, but rather she was correcting them and in the same breath telling them that this is the reason why Japanese people are racist, which essentially you're telling people, I understand why they're racist, and you're excusing the behavior. And I found it ironic because this person is Asian and either Vietnamese, Chinese, whatever. I don't give a shit. Same difference, being real with you, because it's the way you're going to be viewed. You're all going to be put into the same category. Japanese people are Asian too, and for any Asian person who wants to get offended by what I'm saying, I'm sorry to burst your little bubble, but you're not a true minority. Asians are literally the majority of the world. In fact, white people are minorities. People don't want to talk about that part so much because of slavery, but I'm going to keep it real with you. In case you didn't know, Asians make up the vast majority of the world. So whether you like it or not, even although they, have their issues or whatever, white people are actually minorities. But that's all a whole nother conversation. Within Japan, you should be more concerned about the Chinese or the Vietnamese person that you see leaving their trash, talking loudly, peeing on the toilet seats, throwing their shitty tissue in the trash can. That's what you should be concerned about. So my issue isn't with you correcting the behavior, but rather I don't agree with the idea of shaming somebody that's a foreigner because you don't know whether or not they know the rules or not. And no matter how much you research Japan, there is an endless list of rules. I've been living here for nearly a decade and I'm still learning new stuff. I promise you, I'm not saying that to be cliche, but I'm still learning new stuff myself. So I don't like the idea of doing that, especially not when a child is involved. And on top of that, the bigger picture is you're literally doing Japan's dirty work.
They love to see you fighting each other. It's no different than how it is in the US. They love it when black and brown people can't get along with each other. You're literally helping their agenda, so to speak. You're not doing Japan a favor. You're not helping yourself or anyone else by doing that. If you really want to make a difference, inform people, hey, this behavior is wrong. Don't do this. It's not acceptable to do in Japan. Cultural difference, whatever. No need to buy into the whole, this is the reason why they don't like whatever. And not to mention, while I can assume your nationality, whatever, based on your name and clearly seeing a picture of you, any white person that speaks English is not an American. And I don't know whether this person's actually from, this Vietnamese girl, whatever, is actually from the US or not. But I noticed that it's not just with Asian people. I noticed it with other white people too. Anytime I see somebody that speaks English that does something wrong, especially like if they're a blonde or whatever, for God knows what reason, it's just always assumed. Even with black people, people assume almost every foreigner that they see here is an American. And conveniently, only when they do something wrong. Because see, you'll never see somebody leave a post, oh, I saw this American family. They were so mannerable on the train. They did X, Y, and Z. They helped this person when their bike fell, whatever the case is. You'll never get a story like this. But they love to highlight, oh, an American person did this. Oh, these Americans did whatever. How do you know what country they're from? You're literally policing yourselves to being stupid. You're fighting yourselves. And the reality is, we're all foreigners in the eyes of a Japanese person. Nobody gives a shit. And almost every foreigner here can either speak English native fluently or very fluently, which rather have the money and time to travel to begin with. And with that said, someone speaking English alone is not enough reason to assume that they're an American. And it's also extremely unfair for those of us who truly are American, that you categorize everybody doing something bad as being us. Every time I see an Asian person doing something bad, I don't immediately assume, oh, it must be a Chinese person. You have those dirty Chinese. That would offend you, would that not? Because I can also assure you, for every dirty, bad Chinese person, there's also plenty of Chinese people here that assimilate so well, you would think they're Japanese by your own standards. So again, I agree the behavior is wrong. I have no issue with that. My problem is the way that you went about talking about that behavior. And again, the irony of you being concerned about white foreigners when you as an Asian foreigner are viewed as the bottom of the bottom, lowest of the low. You are literally what they don't want to come here. They don't want your money. I'm just being real with you. No matter how good your behavior is, people have prejudice towards you. They don't care how nicely you act. There's assumptions. Like I literally just went, I'm sorry. I want to look at the reviews. I'm on my way to go to Pikachu Afternoon Tea today as of recording this video. And I was reading the reviews, and I couldn't help but notice I saw tons of reviews from Chinese people talking about how they could literally see the change in the attitude of the staff when they were being dealt with. And I couldn't help but to compare those reviews to the reviews I saw left by white people. It was like night and day. The problem wasn't that you're a foreigner. It was what kind of foreigner you were. The reason why they lost interest in serving you, why they had attitude, etc. The reality is, they feel prejudice towards you. They don't want your dollars. They don't want to serve you. They believe stereotypically you're going to leave a mess. You're going to eat loudly with your mouth open. All these different type of things. They believe all of this bad stuff about you. That's the truth. So yes, while you might see things about foreigners, the reality is, as an Asian foreigner here, you might as well give yourself a separate category. I'm telling you blunt, cold, hard truth without the sugarcoating, whatever type of crap people want to do to you online. It's the reality. And contrary to what a lot of people see online, I say this as a black person myself. As a black person, I actually have privilege in Japan for once. I feel treated more like I'm possibly Asian or at least biracial. In fact, I say biracial but white passing in the US in comparison. Trying to compare the two countries, hard to explain. But long story short, I'm viewed as an American. Nobody views me as a black person. I'm viewed as my nationality first, and my race comes second. People would rather rent to a black American than a Chinese person from any country here. And I'm picking on China because Chinese people make up the majority of foreigners here. But there's also a ton of Vietnamese people here too, Koreans, Filipinos, etc. I'm not going to get into all that crap. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm not here to, lift you up, whatever. I'm telling you the hard cold truth because nobody wants to say this, but I'm saying it to you right now. You are the one that needs to try to fight and break these stereotypes. I can assure you, someone having a conversation in English is the least of your concerns. Is it annoying? Yes. Do Japanese people get bothered by this? Yes, they do, and sometimes they might even say something. But the reality is, I have a problem with this too, because you would never see a Japanese person interrupt two Japanese speakers and ask them to shut up. It just almost never happens. But you'll see it all the time with foreigners, though. Do y'all not see that there's a problem with that? So it's okay if they do it, but it's a problem. You know, I'm sorry to keep saying it, but it's the truth. It's okay for them to do it, but if you do it, then there's a problem with it. And y'all keep playing into this dumb mind game that they're manipulating you with. So, whatever. Do whatever you want to do. I can't control you, but I did want to speak on this. Sorry, my alarm's going to seem to be getting ready. But I wanted to speak on this because it's bothering me so much. I'm tired of seeing people do this. You're doing the work of other racist people. And you're going to be viewed the same regardless. I'm not encouraging you to break the rules and not care about them. But rather I'm saying stop excusing racism by saying, see, this is why they don't allow whatever. This is why they do it. No. The problem is them. It's not you. They might not know any better. And if you know better, yes, please do better. I'm all on board for correcting their behavior. Do not get me wrong. But you can leave out the American part because you don't know if they're American or not. And you can also leave out the, see, this is why they're racist part, because that is a BS fallacious argument. They're racist because they chose to be ignorant and racist and rude. It's for no other reason. Point blank. Period. So I'm done. Let me go back to the video.
They know that what they're doing is wrong, but foreigners like you enable them to do this ignorant stuff because you guys egg them on. Oh yeah, like I agree with you. These bad foreigners. I understand why we're not allowed to go to this bar. I understand why we can't live here. You're trying to help, but ultimately you're doing nothing but hurting us by doing dumb shit like this, because what you're saying is inside of a group with other Japanese people too. And of course they appreciate you telling, oh yes, thank you for saying it for us. Let them do the policing themselves. This is their country. Let them handle if they care about it so much. I have never seen a foreigner post online, these loud Japanese people being so obnoxious on the train today. Nope. Because you know what happens when a Japanese person starts talking? Everyone else starts talking too. I talked about this a while ago. I don't know if I said it publicly here on YouTube or not, but I was talking about how I actually like it when I get on the train and it's really quiet, and then like a Japanese person starts talking to their friends or whatever, and then everyone else starts talking. The train gets busy and noisy. It makes it more relaxed and fun and gentle. I like that, instead of it being like a real stiff, uncomfortable ride where you don't want to sneeze or cough, your pin drop, everybody can hear, people mad at you, whatever. I love those train rides. But I have never seen a foreigner make a video talking about that. I've never seen a foreigner make a post online talking about that. See, they won't shame a Japanese person for being the one that breaks the rules or doesn't follow things down to a T. But God forbid a foreign person does it and everybody will lose their shit. I've been on a train before. I saw British people talking loudly, speaking back and forth. But I understood they probably don't understand how loud they are, how rude they're being, etc. It's just talking. I'll survive. You don't want to listen? Wear some headphones. Somebody will tell them to shut the fuck up. It's just not going to be me. Life goes on. As long as they're not bothering me or someone else, it's like, fuck, even if they are bothering someone else. Would a Japanese person stick up for you? Nope. I've been harassed and followed in a busy fucking arcade. Not like arcade, like, you know, a gaming area. But they call it these little, like, shopping center areas, arcades. Nobody, even after I yelled at him to get away from me, nobody came and helped me. Nobody asked if I was okay, if I want them to call the police. Nothing. It's just their culture. They don't get involved. They don't give a shit. They probably thought it was funny for all I care. Didn't faze them. They didn't care. Okay. Why are you getting yourself involved with people that will not protect you, will not defend you, do not care about you? They do the same thing and you don't keep that same energy. Please stop. So, I'm done. I can go on rambling ranting forever. I'm just so tired of seeing stuff like that. Please stop justifying people being prejudiced and are racist. Acknowledge the fact these people are immature mentally, and they've decided they want to be racist, and they're coming up with reasons to justify it. It's no different than how we have issues in the U.S. You can refuse to rent to black people because stereotypically they have bad credit. Stereotypically they don't have high education. Stereotypically they don't have high salaries. Is that fair though? What about for those of us that do? Which that would be the minority, keeping it real with you. But because of that, honestly, that's what kind of holds us back a lot. It's assumed that you're going to behave a certain way, you're going to act a certain way, that you make certain money. People assume things about you. It's not fair. Don't police us if you're not going to police them too. Don't worry about white foreigners if you're going to keep your mouth zipped when you see an Asian foreigner doing it, specifically Chinese or Vietnamese. Keep that same energy. So, I'm finished. Please leave a comment down below. Please chime in. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers, hurt people's feelings. I don't give a shit. I'm going to say it how it is. As always, if you have any questions for me, please leave a comment asking me your questions. You can send me an email with any video ideas or questions that you might have. And as always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. All my links to my social media are down in the description box. And yeah, that's all for now. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I hope you watch another video. Bye.